She stepped into the training yard in a faded olive t-shirt, dusty boots, and a backpack so worn it looked like it had been through someone else's wool. Her hair was tied low, no makeup, no bravado, just silence. The recruits took one look and burst out laughing. Did supply drop off a clock by mistake? One snorted. Guess the Army's hiring yoga instructors now. Another chimed in. Later, during the hand-to-hand combat rotation, a male recruit ripped the back of her shirt and shoved her forward. Girls like you are only good at hiding, he jeered. But when her back was exposed, the yard went still. Ink covered her shoulder blades. Not a name, not a flower, but a black falcon in a downward strike, clutching a lightning bolt in each talon, surrounded by encrypted numerals only special units would recognize. A nearby colonel, gray-haired and grim, stopped mid-step. He snapped to attention, saluted, and whispered, "Stand down. She's marked." The recruits didn't understand, but they went dead quiet. They had mocked a ghost, and ghosts don't hide. They strike. The morning sun cuts low across Fort Lockage, Kansas, a windswept base built more for breaking people than welcoming them. Recruits march in staggered lines across the dirt lot, some sharp, most sloppy, all loud. This is day one of basic combat training, and the field smells of sweat, ego, and the nervous breath of kids who still think this is summer camp. She steps off the transport van wearing dusty combat boots, a faded olive tee, and a decades-old Alice pack so tattered it looks more like a relic than gear. She doesn't speak, doesn't glance around. Her hair is tied low at the nape of her neck, fraying under a bowl cap with no insignia. Her face carries no makeup, no flush of excitement, no hint of who she is. That alone draws fire. "Hey, is admin lost?" Someone calls. "Must be a janitor." Another laughs. "Hey, sweetheart," mops in the supply shed. A group of young male recruits snicker near the pull-up bars. One of them, Lance Corporal Brooks, tall, square-jawed, and already acting like he owns a yard, steps forward with a grin that doesn't reach his eyes. "You forget your pom-poms. Sweetheart," he taunts. "This ain't cheer camp." The others burst out laughing. She says nothing, just shifts her weight, adjusts the strap of her pack, and keeps walking. A redhead named Casey leans toward her buddy. Bet she cries before sundown. By noon, they've given her a nickname, Ghost Girl, because she doesn't speak, doesn't smile, doesn't flinch, just floats. At orientation, Drill Sergeant Denton, 6 feet of southern bark and bad knees, lines them up in formation under the scalding July heat. He paces like a man with too little patience and too much caffeine. "Welcome to Fort Lockridge. This ain't your mama's backyard. You're here to break and rebuild. You will eat fast, run faster, and sleep when you've earned it." He stops in front of her, the quiet one, standing 4 from the left. He eyes her up and down. "What's your name, soldier?" he demands. She looks him in the eye and replies evenly, "Mitchell, Riley Mitchell." Her voice is calm, level, not cocky, not afraid. "You military brat?" "No, sir." He glaze. "You allergic to haircuts, Mitchell?" "No, sir." "Then why you walking around here like you wandered off from the supply tent?" A few recruits snort. Brooks openly smirks. Mitchell doesn't answer. Doesn't need to. Denton nods slowly. "We'll see how long that stone face holds up when you're covered in mud." Later that afternoon, they're lined up at the training yard, partnered off for the first hand-to-hand combat rotation. It's supposed to be a light drill, just to test reflexes. No pressure, no winds, just movement. Mitchell is paired with Brooks. He grins the moment he hears it. "You sure you don't want to switch?" he says to her. "I don't want to hurt your yoga spine." She doesn't blink, just nods and steps into position, stance wide, arms relaxed. They circle each other. Other recruits watch from the sides, hoping for something entertaining. "Come on, Ghost Girl," Brooks sneers. "Let's see what hiding gets you." Then, without warning, he lunges, grabs her collar, and yanks her shirt hard from behind. The sound of ripping fabric echoes. "Maybe you got a bunny tattoo back there," he yells, half laughing. "Let's see what you're really hiding." But what's revealed isn't a bunny, or a flower, or a butterfly. It's a black falcon mid-dive, wings curved forward, talons extended. 2 lightning bolts cross beneath it. Surrounding the bird are etched digits in the symbol. Strange, sharp, encrypted. No one laughs. Not even Brooks. Because someone else sees it. Someone who's seen it before. From across the field, Commander Clay Hawthorne, a 22-year Army veteran with twin Bronze Stars and a face carved by time, is walking toward the drill cages when he catches a glimpse of her exposed back. His feet stop mid-step. His eyes lock onto the ink like he's staring at a ghost. He doesn't shout, doesn't blink. He marches directly toward the 2 standing in the center. All the recruits go quiet, as if sensing a drop in the pressure of the air. Brooks drops her collar. Mitchell stands still. Commander Hawthorne stops 5 feet away. The recruits clear a path like their bodies just know they should. He looks at her. Not her face. Not her ripped shirt. Her back. Then, before anyone can process it, he stands at attention, salutes, and says firmly, "All units, stand down." Sergeant Denton freezes mid-yell, confusion flooding his face. "Sir." Hawthorne doesn't respond. His gaze doesn't shift. "She's marked," he says quietly. "She's cleared." No one knows what it means, but they hear the change in tone. The way soldiers sometimes speak when something classified brushes against the edge of everyday life. No one breathes. Brooks stumbles backward slightly, pale. "She's Ghost Falcon," Hawthorne mutters to himself. Mitchell gently pulls her torn shirt back over her shoulder. Her expression doesn't change, but her silence feels heavier now, like it's covering something immense. One of the girls, Elena, whispers to Casey, "Did you see the numbers around it?" No. Casey breathes, but Hawthorne did, and he saluted. The whispers begin that night. She wasn't on the roster last week. Special Forces. Maybe she's a plant. What's Ghost Falcon? Those digits, are those unit codes? Someone swears they saw a photograph in a dark hallway with a similar mark, but the face was always blacked out. By morning, no one mocks her, and no one calls her Ghost Girl anymore. They call her nothing, because silence, now, is the safest thing near her. The silence that followed the salute didn't just end the drill. It rewrote the social order of Fort Lockage. By the next morning, Riley Mitchell has become something no recruit wants to say aloud. Not friend, not enemy, something else. Something that walks past you and makes your back straighten. It's chow time, and the mess hall is thick with noise. Boots shuffle across linoleum. Trays clatter. Conversations overlap, everything from drill complaints to homesick jokes, except at one table near the far wall. She sits alone. 1 tray, 1 bottle of water, 1 pair of unshaken hands. At the next table over, 4 guys who mocked her the day before now speak in lower tones. One of them, Reese, pretends not to look her way every 10 seconds. The tall redhead, Casey, frowns into her mashed potatoes. "What was that salute about?" she mutters to Elena. Elena shrugs. "Commander Hawthorne doesn't salute anyone. I saw him walk past a full-bird colonel last week without blinking." "She's not even ranked," Casey whispers. "She's a recruit like us. What gives?" "She's not like us," Elena says. "Did you see the tattoo?" "I saw it." Another voice cuts in. Private Dawson, a wiry kid from Detroit who barely made it through PT this morning. "That symbol on her back? That's not a regular unit marking." "So what is it?" Dawson leans forward. "My cousin's at Fort Bragg. Special Ops. He once told me about black ink symbols, covert identifiers. Not the kind you flash around unless someone already knows. They're invisible to civilians, even most military." Casey rolls her eyes. "So she's a ghost assassin now." "No," Dawson says, "but something close." The strange part is, Mitchell doesn't behave like someone hiding power. She still joins every formation, still runs every lap. She scrubs latrines when assigned and folds her sheets like clockwork. She never uses a salute to her advantage, never brings it up, and that unsettled people more than if she had bragged. The base psychologist, Lieutenant Jensen, notices a tension brewing and flags it in his morning report. "Social pressure anomaly detected," he writes. "Recommend passive observation." But Drill Sergeant Denton isn't interested in reports. He's interested in soldiers, and one of them just disrupted the chain of command. That afternoon, during a weapons maintenance drill, he watches her from across the armory. She cleans her M16 calmly, deliberately. Perfect rhythm. Perfect dismantle. Reassemble. Lock. No wasted motion. No glancing around. No copying the others. She's done in half the time, but she doesn't show off. She just resets and waits. He walks over. You military brat. No, sir, she replies again. You Air Force? Navy cross-train. No, sir. Then where'd you learn the breakdown? She blinks once. Instructional video. Sir. Denton stays. What kind of video teaches you to disassemble with muscle memory? She looks up. The kind not on YouTube. He narrows his eyes but says nothing more. Something in her voice stops the line of questioning. He walks away, but not before noticing one more thing. The serial number on her rifle. It ends in V9. The armory doesn't issue V-series unless someone handpicked it, and no one at his level would have authorized that. The tension boils over during week 2. It starts in the rec bay, where the recruits are given 1 hour downtime. A few play cards. Some nap. Others spar in the corner ring. Brooks, bruised and ego more than skin, watches Mitchell from the far side of the room. She's sitting alone again, reading an outdated infantry manual. He walks over slowly, a grin masking the unease in his eyes. You memorize that thing yet? He asks. She looks up. Not yet. He leans against the table. You special forces? Or just someone's niece? She doesn't respond. He smirks. You know, I did some digging. No Mitchell shows up on the Black Ops rolls. No field ops history. No old units. No records at all. Funny how invisible you are. She closes the manual slowly. You searched for me. Just wanted to know what kind of ghost gets a salute from command. Her eyes narrow just slightly. Did it bother you? He shifts. No, just doesn't make sense. She leans forward, then stopped chasing shadows. He's about to reply when the loudspeaker cuts in. All units, report to Obstacle Yard Bravo. Immediate evaluation. The next event isn't a normal assessment. It's a full combat course designed to crush soft recruits before graduation week. 40 stations, live instructors, real pain, wall climbs, low crawls, mud trenches, rifle lifts, breach doors, weighted carries, gas mask drills, all under stopwatch and eyes. They are paired off again, and this time, Casey volunteers a partner with Riley Mitchell. Not out of friendship, out of curiosity. Obstacle 5, mud trench drag. They are instructed to carry their partner through 200 feet of waist-high sludge. Mitchell gestures. Climb on. Casey hesitates. You sure? Mitchell says nothing, just kneels low. The moment Casey wraps her arms, Mitchell surges forward with controlled power, not brute force, but motion like she's done this before. Others are sinking, slipping, falling. Mitchell walks it. Fast, silent, steady. By the time she drops Casey at the line, the clock shows 1:03, the fastest in the camp's history for this drill. Obstacle 11, blind fire drill. They are given 10 seconds to memorize a range layout, then blindfolded and asked to hit 5 targets based on auditory cues. Mitchell's turn. 5 pings. The instructor barks. Mitchell listens. Breathes. 5 shots. 5 metallic thuds. All hits. Dead center. The instructor lowers his clipboard. Who trained you? Mitchell just lifts the blindfold and walks back to formation. Obstacle 18, endurance wall. 12-foot vertical barrier. Ropes. No footholds. One by one, recruits struggle up, some falling twice. When it's Mitchell's turn, she jogs to the rope, grips it barehanded, and ascends like gravity forgot her. The moment her boots hit the top edge, the entire bay quiets. Even the instructors start to glance at each other. This isn't natural. It's surgical, like someone built her for this. By sundown, whispers turn into unspoken agreement. She's not one of them. She never was. And now the staff knows it too. That night, In the command cabin, Hawthorne pores over old files with a scotch in one hand and the personnel database open. He pulls up her intake photo. Riley S. Mitchell. No family, no criminal record, no prior service. Except the intake signature has an override code, red stripe clearance. He types the override into the system. The screen blanks, then fills with classified metadata. Up 47G. Assigned. Viper Directive Sovereign Cadre. Civilian disguise protocol active. He leans back slowly. Ghost Falcon isn't a myth, he whispers. She's a damn prototype. Back in the barracks, Casey finally speaks. All right, she says from her bunk, eyes fixed on the ceiling. What the hell are you? Mitchell doesn't look up from her notebook. I'm a recruit. No, recruits don't move like that. Don't shoot like that. They don't have tattoos that make commanders salute. Mitchell's pen pauses. You want answers, she says softly, but you're asking the wrong questions. Casey sits up. So what's the right question? Mitchell finally looks at her. Eyes like steel under calm water. The right question is, why would someone like me need to hide in a place like this? Casey stares at her, stunned, and for the first time since Bootcamp began, she doesn't have anything sarcastic to say. Because deep down, she knows, whatever Riley Mitchell is hiding from, it's bigger than anything inside Fort Lockage. Day 4. By now, everyone walks a little quieter around Riley Mitchell. They've stopped asking where she's from, why she's here, or what her tattoo means. Every time she passes a cluster of recruits, conversations stall. It's not fear, not exactly. It's unsettled awe, like she's a walking riddle that no one wants to solve too loudly. But that doesn't mean they respect her. Not fully. Not yet. Some think she's a plant, a fake, embedded to spy on them. Others whisper she's some overhyped reserve from a ghost unit. Either way, the same current flows beneath every theory. She hasn't proved herself. Not physically. Not publicly. That's where today changes everything. They are assembled outside the combat simulation arena, a 2-acre gravel pit surrounded by low bleachers, barbed wire barriers, and mock urban environment. Burnt-out cars, low sandbag walls, tire obstacles, concrete slabs. A dusty American flag flaps behind the range scoreboard. It's Hell Circuit Day, the infamous time run designed to crush both muscle and morale. No weapons, no teams. Just 32 obstacles, full gear, and 2 watches counting down. Fastest time wins. DNF means extra rotations and public humiliation. Sergeant Denton paces in front of the group with a bullhorn in hand. You want war, he shouts. This is war, minus the bullets. This drill tells me who you are when everything's taken from you except pain and pressure. This drill decides who eats and who repeats. The recruits shift uneasily. They've heard about Hell Circuit, the bruises, the snapped ankles, the tears. Casey leans over to Elena. If Mitchell's gonna prove she's human, this is it. But Mitchell just stands still, unblinking, calm as ever. Denton pulls out a clipboard. Let's make this interesting. He scans a group. Brooks, you up? Brooks jogs to the line, helmet in hand, grinning like he's about to wrestle a dog he's already beaten. You want Mitchell, don't you? Denton teases. Brooks doesn't hesitate. Yes, drill sergeant. The recruits murmur. Denton smiles wide. Mitchell, front and center. Riley steps forward. No hesitation. She drops her pack, tightens her gloves, and takes her place beside Brooks. This isn't hand-to-hand, Denton says. But it's personal. Whoever finishes faster gets bragging rights. Loser cleans the latrines tonight. Brooks stretches. You sure she won't get lost out there? Mitchell says nothing, but her eyes flick toward the start gate, calculating. Not even a blink for him. Brooks launches forward, immediately gaining a stride ahead. Mitchell doesn't sprint. She moves like water, steady and low. Her footing is precise. Deliberate. Obstacle 1. Crawl under barbed wire. Brooks dives, thrashing. Mitchell drops flat, glides under with the grace of a cat. Obstacle 4. 10-foot wall. Brooks hurls himself upward with brute force. Mitchell reaches it, plants one foot, uses a narrow crevice in the side as a boost, and rolls over. By obstacle 9, the weighted sandbag carry, Brooks is winded, face red. Mitchell, though dusty, hasn't broken rhythm. She hoists the sandbag without breaking her gait. That's when something changes. A second-tier commander watching from the bleachers leans forward. Captain Irons, retired ranger, now training supervisor. Look at her pacing. He mutters. What about it? Asks his assistant. She's not running it like a rookie, Irons says. She's running like she's done this 100 times. The course continues. Obstacle 15, vertical rope climb with water spray. Brooks grabs it, slips, curses. Mitchell leaps, grips the rope, and climbs smoothly, hand over hand, barely swinging. At the top, she doesn't hesitate to drop. She lands, rolls, and keeps moving. Now everyone's watching her. Every instructor, every recruit. Obstacle 22, the grave. A dark concrete tunnel barely 3 feet tall, stretching 30 meters and filled with cold, recirculating water. It's pitch black inside. Brooks pauses, huffing. Mitchell crawls in without breaking stride. For 30 seconds, she vanishes. Then she emerges, soaked, eyes wide open, not shivering, not gasping. She keeps running. By the time they hit the final stretch, a simulated fireman's rescue dummy hole, Brooks is a full 2 obstacles behind. Mitchell lifts the 180 pounds dummy with a fireman's carry. The crowd of recruits has gone dead silent. She holds the weight like it's personal. Like she's done this in real fire, in real smoke, with real lives on the line. She crosses the finish line. Timer, 8 minutes 47 seconds. The fastest anyone has run Hell Circuit at Fort Lockage in over 6 years. Brooks crosses 2 minutes later. Panting, covered in mud, beaten. He doesn't say a word. Sergeant Denton blows his whistle. Recruits, eyes up. They snap to attention. He walks over to Mitchell, arms crossed, staring. I've seen 4,000 soldiers come through this yard, he says. I've seen elite units, cross-trained rangers, and athletes with gold medals crack halfway through that course. He points at her boots. You didn't crack. He turns to the recruits. You all got your jokes, your guesses. But let me make one thing clear. I don't care who she was before this camp. Right now, she's a standard. Silence, then slow clapping. It starts with Casey, then Elena, then another. Within seconds, the entire group is clapping. Not politely, but with weight. For the first time, Riley Mitchell nods slightly. Just once. Brooks, hands on knees, looks up at her and says nothing. But something in his posture changes. The tilt of his shoulders, the slow drop of his ego. He sees it now. Everyone does. She didn't just beat them physically. She changed the air in the arena. That night, back in the barracks, recruits whisper about her again, but differently. She never flinched. Not once. I timed her on the tunnel. 30 seconds in the dark. I'd have passed out. Did you see the precision? Like she mapped the whole course in her head. Brooks didn't say a word afterward. And Denton? He looked shook. The name Ghost Girl returns, but now it's said like a title, not an insult. Someone even says it quietly to her. Ghost Girl. She doesn't respond. But later that night, when the lights are low, she's seen staring at the same patch of wall for 20 minutes, perfectly still, as if she's listening to something no one else can hear. Instructors begin comparing notes. She doesn't sleep much. Finishes drills with perfect form. I caught her reciting old Russian callouts, not from a manual, field slang. Someone said her boots are custom military issue from a defunct wrecking unit. Even Captain Irons requests a file again, and once again, most of it is redacted. 3 days later, a letter arrives, not emailed, not printed, hand-delivered, addressed to R. Mitchell, marked confidential, sender, National Reconnaissance Support Command, a unit long rumored to be decommissioned. Captain Irons opens it personally. Inside is a card. No letter, just a dark matte rectangle with a code strip and a sigil. A falcon over twin chevrons, different from the one on her back, but clearly related. Irons looks up. She wasn't meant to be here long. Denton swallows. What does that mean? Irons pockets the card. It means Fort Lockage is playing host to something way above our clearance. Mitchell sleeps early that night. No one teases her anymore. Some don't even meet her eyes. But from time to time, one or two brave souls ask softly, "Who trained you?" "Oh, what's a falcon for?" She never answers. But one thing is now impossible to ignore. Every time she steps onto the field, everyone watches. Nobody sleeps much the night before graduation. The base is quieter than usual, but tension pulses beneath the surface like a coiled spring. Everyone's too aware something unspoken has changed in the past few days. Not just the way they train or the drills they run, but the weight of presence among them. The presence of her. Riley Mitchell walks the line like she's done it before. She doesn't march, she glides. With posture too upright to be fresh, with eyes that miss nothing. Her uniform crisp, her boots burnished, her rifle disassembled and reassembled blindfolded in record time. The other recruits still whisper, still wonder, but they no longer speculate out loud, because what they've seen in the past few days has shut mouths. Since the moment Commander Hawthorne saluted her, the base has felt colder, more alert. Instructors triple-check their briefings. High-ranking officers loiter at the edge of fields where she trains. A Pentagon-tagged SUV was spotted pulling out of the yard at dawn, and no one knows who it was here to see. But Mitchell, as always, says nothing. She just drills harder, moves cleaner, shoots straighter. She's taken every challenge thrown her way, and quietly dismantled them. Now, it's graduation morning. They assembled in dress uniforms on the main parade ground. Families are allowed to gather behind the chain-link railings. Some wave, some cry. A few hold up phones, streaming the moment their sons and daughters officially become soldiers. But Mitchell has no one in the crowd. Just a sealed manila envelope tucked inside her footlocker and a name no one can trace before 2022. As the bass band prepares to strike the anthem, Colonel Hawthorne steps onto the podium. But instead of opening with a standard speech about unity and courage, he clears his throat once and says something unexpected. "Before we begin today's ceremony," he says, scanning the recruits, "one of you has been asked to step forward. This request comes from higher than me, and higher than most I've ever answered to." Murmurs rise like wind through dry grass. The colonel's gaze settles. Recruit Riley Mitchell, front and center. Gasps flicker. A few jaws tighten. Elena's hand shoots to her mouth. Mitchell steps forward, face calm, boots steady. He nods. "You are requested in the forward office, immediately. This ceremony will pause until you return." That's not a request. That's command protocol. And nothing about it is normal. She follows two plainclothes officers, one male, one female, both wearing watches with no time markings, their movements sharp, efficient, and wordless. They walk her past security checkpoints, past the motor pool, past the restricted training quarters, into a building with no windows and a single keypad-locked metal door. Inside, it's quiet, air-conditioned. One long table, one chair, one monitor. And on the screen, a face. Older man, clean-shaven, decorated wall behind him, eyes like razors. "Recruit Mitchell," he says. "Or would you prefer your other designation?" Mitchell remains standing. "I no longer use that name, sir." A beat. "Understood. You've done well." The silence held longer than expected. She doesn't answer, doesn't smile. He leans forward, clasping his hands. "You knew we'd come eventually." "I wasn't hiding," she replies. "No, you were watching, waiting." Another pause. They've seen the mark. They talk. Mitchell glances down at her covered shoulder. "Let them." He nods. "We don't need you to return. You've earned your out. But there's a new unit forming, unofficial, off-grid. Ghost Falcon was only the first. We're building from ashes, from scars." She says nothing. The man tilts his head. "You'd lead, quietly, no fanfare. You'd answer to no one but the shadow cell." Finally, she speaks. "Am I the only one?" A small, tight smile. "No, but you be the first they trust." She exhales, just once. "Then I accept." He nods. "We'll be in contact. Finish your ceremony." When she returns, her walk is slower. Not tired, weighted. The entire platoon stays as she reappears beside the colonel. He looks at her. All clear. She nods. He turns to the crowd. Now, we proceed. Names are called. One by one, recruits march up, salute, and receive their certificates. Cheers, claps, whistles. But when Mitchell's name is called, the clapping dies. No one dares cheer. No one dares whisper. Even parents who don't know her hush their cameras. She walks up, salutes. Colonel Hawthorne returns it. But again, like before, there's something deeper in it. Something known. Congratulations, he says softly. You're done here, but your path isn't. She takes the paper, nods, and walks off the stage as if none of this means anything at all. That night, most recruits celebrate. Cheap root beer, protein bar from vending machines, prank calls to old friends back home. But not Mitchell. She stands by the far fence, facing the Kansas skyline. Shirt sleeves rolled up, scarred hands resting on the rail. Brooks approaches, slower than usual. No swagger now, just curiosity. He stops a few feet from her. I never apologize for the shirt thing. She turns, doesn't blink, waits. He rubs his neck. I thought you were someone else. Just quiet. I didn't know. Her voice is quiet. Most don't. He gestures vaguely. The mark. That symbol. That was Ghost Falcon, wasn't it? She doesn't respond. Brooks swallows. Is it real? I mean, the stories. That squad didn't even officially exist. She watches the horizon. Real enough to leave burn marks. On people. On history. He doesn't push further. She finally speaks, eyes still on the darkening sky. It's not just a tattoo. It's a door. Once you walk through it, you don't get to come back. Brooks nods, silent. She turns toward him slightly. You were quick on the third day drill. Don't let anyone dull that. Then she walks past him, disappearing toward the barracks, leaving only dust and questions behind. 2 weeks later, a file arrives at the Pentagon, encrypted, triple-locked, labeled Operator NO, 47A. It's handed off to a Black Ops unit inside an unmarked hangar. The summary reads, Riley Mitchell, cleared for reactivation. Designation, Ghost Falcon, resurrected. Primary assignment, Formation Unit Echo Viper. The final note, tattoo verified, symbol encoded, reactivation authorized. Somewhere in Kansas, an empty bunk remains unassigned, and the base never speaks of her again.